Hey everyone, it's Mimi and Weezus.
Hey guys, what's good?
Gets me every time still, dude. Every
You're
time.
like you every time you want to be like, hey you guys.
Yeah. Or when you say it's like when I say Weezus, I want to go Weezus baby. Like you know, like like something like that every fucking time. Today, okay, so since we've been covering all of these trials and sexual misconduct cases and stuff like that, we thought it would be a good idea to bring up James Franco. Because just like Danny Masterson, a lot of us grew up watching James Franco movies and stuff. So since we all grew up watching his movies, I think the first place we all saw him, or at least our generation will remember seeing him, is in Spider-Man, because he was Peter Parker's best friend.
He was hairy, dude.
Yeah, and his dad was what, Sandman?
No, Norman.
His dad? But what was the bad guy?
Okay. His name is Harry Osborn. His dad is Norman Osborn.
Yeah,
and he's Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. Okay, I don't remember that dude being his dad in the movies. I remember it being the other guy for some reason. I don't know why, but like I've confused the bad guys. I haven't watched the first Spider-Man movies in so long because there's literally so many Marvel movies out that I forget.
Right. It's hard because like you forget that those are there, and then you also remember the Andrew Garfield ones, and you're like, huh.
Well, who remembers the Andrew Garfield ones? Because not me.
You don't? What's wrong with you?
No, I did like I watched them, but like I didn't love them, you know. I like Tom Holland's like Spider-Man better than Andrew Garfield.
I say that was like the one Spider-Man movie that didn't have a happy ending because he technically killed his girlfriend.
Well, happens to a lot of people. Just
damn. Real life.
Real life, dude.
Preach it. No,
and then you have Pineapple Express. I was in 8th grade when that shit came out.
Damn.
That movie was fire, especially back then. It's still a banger, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, and
then we had 127 Hours, the one where he has to cut off his arm, you know, and that one's based on a true story. And then he hit us with This Is the End.
Oh, dude, you remember this is the end, bro. That movie's hilarious.
I loved that movie. And then The Interview, which was another.
Oh, bro, the Interview. I remember. I was in high school when that came out, and the problem was like, there might be a war because of it.
For real, I remember everyone was saying like they're gonna attack us, like North Korea's gonna come for us because of this movie, and it was really frowned upon. Like I think North Korea actually got like big fucking mad over this movie, dude. They got really mad.
They were setting up them rockets pointed at every major city. They're like, let's go.
They probably were, dude. But it was a funny movie. I will say, like, if you have a sense of humor, you'll think it's funny. If you don't like any of those movies, it's just because you're uptight, okay? And you don't know comedy, but it's fine. And then
you don't know comedy.
One of his last movies, which I don't know how many movies he really had after all this stuff we're about to talk about, but Why Him? Did you ever watch that one with Bryan Cranston?
Yes.
Dude, I even loved that one. Like, I grew up watching him. I thought he was so freaking funny.
Yeah, no, for sure. Is James Franco, how do I say? I feel like he's always been part of like the movies I've watched growing up. And like you said, all those movies that you just named, I remember watching those movies multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, it just bugs me, dude. It really does. And then did you ever watch Spring Breakers? And he's got the gun. He's like, Spring Break. I remember when that came out, dude.
Yes.
Every time someone would be like, what are you going to do for Spring Break? In my head, even still to this day, I'm like, Spring Break.
Right. Gotta look like.
Yeah, with your gun and your freaking cornrows, dude, your braids and stuff.
Oh my god.
Just Spring Break.
Dude, but what if next time you see me, I just have corn braids?
Cornrows.
Yeah. And I'm over here. I have a grill. I'm over here talking like I'm from Texas.
I mean, that wouldn't look like you at all, but I'd be down, dude. I would take pictures and save them for
when you come down from your high.
Yeah. Anyways, we're talking about him like he's like the Denzel of our generation, but he's not, all right? Because
It's because it's kind of hard not to say like straight up, bro. This guy, he's a good actor.
he is. He's
came
made
out
me
in
laugh.
he's come out in dramas. He's come out in independent movies. He's come out on TV shows just randomly. He was on General
General
Hospital?
Hospital? Was he really?
Yeah,
That was
he
like
came
so
out
long
he came
ago.
out for exactly, bro, I'll tell you, like 30 episodes until his character died on the show.
What?
And then you know who he was playing? A
Who?
guy named Franco.
You're lying.
I'm not, dude. Look it up.
I am, dude. He was. I did not know. Dude, did you know there's 61 seasons of General Hospital? Did you know there's 61 seasons of General? Oh, this is too much. Okay. But anyways, the reason we came on here to discuss James Franco today is for some serious stuff. So I'd like to say really quick that the cases that we've been covering are like cases and trials, you know what I mean? So this is going to be different because we're also going to cover Chris D'Elia in this episode, and neither of them have been on trial for what we're talking about. So they have just been accused of this. It's been going on for years. Like James Franco's career was ruined over this. And then Chris D'Elia, I don't even know what the hell he's doing. Like, he's not even funny, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, he said like 3 funny things in his career, maybe. So it bugs.
And the thing is, the roles that Chris D'Elia has played, like the characters, I feel like they weren't characters, my dude.
Exactly. Like when he played the freaking pedophile in You.
Oh my god, dude. That's where I first ever heard of Chris D'Elia.
Is it?
Yeah, for me, that's where I first ever heard of him. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
The first I heard of him was
it's because
Justin Bieber roast.
You know what I just remembered? There's a similar scene from You, and you know that where you know that little girl goes through all that with him, right?
Yeah.
There's a game called Life is Strange.
Okay.
And I think it's the second one. And the killer, the one that kills, let's say the main girl's best friend, turns out he was doing that to little girls too. You know, he would, drug them, bring them over to the house, and then take pictures of them, and then kill them, and then bury them under the house.
In the movie?
In the game.
In the game. Okay.
This is the game.
I was like, wait, Chris did what, dude? And he's walking free? Okay.
Yeah, but
I got
I'm
confused
like,
for a second.
It's such a similar story to like the You, like what goes on there. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is. It's scary that all of this can even happen, to be honest. I don't know. Like, everything we talk about, it just blows my mind that
it happens so casually and
yeah.
Maybe before, things were a lot more, how do I say? Everyone didn't believe what we would say, right? Everyone would think we were skeptics or crazies.
Yeah, we're just conspiracy theorists and we're just like being wild. But now that all these cases are coming out and coming together, I just want to tell all of you guys who doubted us, fucking told you, bruh. Fucking told you, bruv.
No, I feel see Miranda, us two can see, like, we gotta be like more like it's not like we're warning you guys, but now we're telling you guys, and you guys still aren't listening.
Mm-hmm. They'll get the I told you so moment, though. It's not conceited to say, hey, I literally have all the proof. Here's what I'm saying. It would be conceited if I was like, we're so freaking good, dude. But you know what I mean? Like, we're literally reading direct information and giving it to you guys, and you guys are like, see, the way I see it is that, and I'm like, no, okay, well, you don't.
It's
you
like
don't
a
see.
like a thesis professor, bro. Like I'm gonna need your thesis on this topic, 10 pages. Try to convince me that life is real. It's like, but this is a math class. I said what I said.
I said what I said. Dude, have you seen that video? This has nothing to do with the podcast, so I'll probably cut this, but this freaking part, this video cracks me up. I sent it to you once on a reel. It's that kid, and his brother's like driving off in that mini golf cart, and he's like, wait, and he does it, and then he like is walking over there all pissed, and he's like a little like kid, maybe like a Hawaiian kid or Mexican kid or something, and he gets there, and the brother stops, and he goes, why is that wait, you wait? And I don't know why, but the way he's so serious, and like you could tell his dad does that to him, or his mom. He goes, "When I say wait, you wait." And he's like a little kid. And now anytime I tell the dogs wait and Mila moves, I always go, "When I say wait, you wait." Like I get so mad. And you made me think that when you said that shit. Dude.
I said what I said.
I said what I said. I was like, "When I say wait, you wait." Like the way you said it, dude.
Bro, if I was like I said like a math teacher in college, and like I said the last final, I'd be like, you guys need a thesis statement and like, to pass the class, and then the kids start like arguing and shit, like, well, I thought this was a math, I said what I said, and then storm off, close my briefcase, and then my Gundam handkerchief falls out, and I leave. No, just get that.
Oh my God. Handkerchief, dude. All right. Back to the topic at hand. James Franco. So, what we're about to tell you is wild. So, if you think about it, when was the last time you saw James Franco in anything?
Okay. Well, since I saw this video recently, I know, right? Yeah. It's everything. Like he literally stopped making shit since 2020.
Yep. Why, you might ask? Not you, Jesus, but the audience. Because just like everyone else, he's being scummy, dude. Scum. It started in 2014. We'll just call it the Instagram incident. That's what the internet likes to call it. But this isn't just an Instagram incident. This is some creepy stuff. So in 2014, James Franco has already admitted that he was flirting with this 17-year-old girl on Instagram. She had screenshots of all her conversations that she had with him where he like attempted to bring her to his hotel room to hook up and stuff. This girl, she was only 17, like I said. She was visiting. I don't know if she was from Scotland or if she's just Scottish. I'm not sure. But she was on vacation to New York at the time. Nice. Anyway, she bumps into him at a Broadway show, and she had been like tagged in a photo saying that she was there. Well, he tagged her in a photo. Sorry, I'm literally saying it wrong. She tagged him in a photo. My bad. That she took with him because she met him there, right? So she takes a picture, tags him on Insta, and then he's like, "Goddamn!" and he freaking messages her.
He slid in the DMs real quick, bro. But that's how it used to be, man. Yeah, throw the shots in the DM. No, just kidding.
Well, and then he was like trying to, lure her to his hotel room and whatnot. She didn't say yes, so he like kept getting turned down. And then what did he do, dude? Continued.
Of course he didn't. He's like, I need the satisfaction of the hunt.
Yep. So hear this, bro. Hear this. When he's messaging her, which he was 35 at the time and she was 17. That's disgusting. That's R. Kelly status disgusting. This girl tells him that she was only 17. And what did he say? Nothing. He was like, okay, so are you single though? Like, what hotel are you staying at? Should I rent a room there? That's what he said.
Damn, homie's like, he old enough to walk. Let's go.
Exactly. And then he finally admitted it, even though he like was in denial about things, because they all do this, right? He finally admitted to using bad judgment, guys. And I'm like,
AKA thinking with your dick. Nice.
Yeah, and nothing else. Literally. He said, and I quote, "I guess I'm, embarrassed. And I guess I'm just a model of how social media is tricky. In my position, not only do I have to go through the embarrassing rituals of meeting someone, but sometimes it gets published for the world." This isn't an embarrassing first conversation with some lady, dude. This is a little kid.
He's trying to entice her with his fame.
Mm-hmm. That's how they always do it, dude. That's how they always do it.
Well, dude, honestly, if the creator of Gundam just came to me and be like, "I'm gonna make a Gundam series off of your life," I'll be like, "It's terrible, dude. It's trash. Don't do it."
Yeah, don't do
it. But don't do it. But that's what I would tell him, right? But he's like, but in return, he's like, "You gotta suck my dick." I'd be like, hell no,
I ain't doing it.
I ain't doing it. Just because I don't want the show to get canceled like 3 episodes in because I said the N word.
That's literally what would happen, dude. I already know you. With an A, not an ER, guys. Doesn't make it much better, but a little bit, you know? It's not racist, it's just silly.
Just silly. I'm just a silly goose. No,
just a silly goose. So after this 2014 incident, then we go to 2018. This is where shit starts to get fired up for James Franco. Because he went to the Golden Globes and he was wearing a pin. And the pin said, #time's up. At that time, this girl named Violet Paley, I'm not sure how to say her last name, I think it's Paley. She tweeted, and I quote, "Cute #time's up pin, James Franco. Remember the time you pushed my head down in a car towards your exposed penis?" That's what she posts on Twitter, dude.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Just like that?
Yeah, just straight up. She said penis and everything. She just literally just goes for gold, right? She just goes for it. So then he goes on The Late Show a couple days later. And James Franco, he's like, no. I'm going to deny all of it. He said he denied everything. And I quote, "The things that I heard that were on Twitter are not accurate, but I completely support people coming out and being able to have a voice because they didn't have a voice for so long." That's what he said.
See, he makes it so much worse. Like the way we talked about him in the beginning, we make it seem like James Franco, he's like a homie. He's like one of the good actors, supposedly, right? And then
he does
some
some
scandal comes out. You know, they abuse their power, and now we're here.
Well, hear this. So after Violet posts that thing, other people start coming forward. So not just her, but then all these other girls start posting things on Twitter as well. So basically all of them were like the same thing. Like, "Oh, remember that time that you hit on me?" And then my like friend who was only 17, even though you've already been in trouble for hitting on a 17-year-old before and you're going to do it again, blah, blah, blah. So stuff like that starts coming out. Twitter's going nuts. James Franco is still like, I have no idea what they're talking about, blah, 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 right? Then it gets even worse because James Franco had a school. So
he's like, I'm gonna teach you the ways to be a stoner. No, just kidding.
Yep. Well, and then there were some people who were like standing up for him. So not standing up for him, but one of the girls that came forward, she said basically like, "I love James Franco, like he's my friend, but I still believe that what he did to me is wrong." And blah, blah, blah. But she still comes forward, which like it makes no sense because that would be like if someone harasses you and then you're like, "I love them, but like I do want to speak out with the others, but you still my boy."
It'd be like if I beat up Miles and then literally the next day Miles is out there defending me.
Yeah, that's literally it. That's what it would be like.
Did Jesus beat you up? Yeah, but he's the homie, you know.
He's my homie. I love him. He's the best. Like that's what it'd be like.
Oh, man.
So
it's that reverse psychology to the max, huh?
Mm-hmm. And that was in 2018 when all that shit was happening. So then you come to 2019. So like this all sounds like it was just the other day, but I can't believe it's already 2024 because I feel like it's just 2020. Like, you know, this is happening. So 2019 comes around and that school I was telling you about.
Yes.
This is when he faces a lawsuit over it all. Because you want to know what he was doing there?
What was he doing, Ryan? Because I have an idea. Because, you know, these Hollywood types all seem to do the same thing.
Well, he was offering classes, like acting classes. That's what the school was. And he was teaching people to act. He had a specific class, and this should have been a red flag. So this is the weird part. Because if you're signing up for this class, which I'm going to tell you the name of in a second, you would expect it to be sexual, right? The class was called Sex Scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you sign up for a class named sex scenes, just know you're gonna be doing sex scenes, right? So you're
Hmm.
basically gonna be doing porn. So if you go up in there thinking you're gonna do anything other than sex scenes, I feel like that's all on you.
Yeah. So it did get weird, and there was some things that happened that wouldn't happen in a class, right? So like obviously you were there to work on sex scenes, and the girl said
It's like
like
I wasn't there, Miranda. I wasn't. I wish I was though.
you
I
were
was just
there, dude.
kidding.
So there's so many different pages with so much different information on this. So like I'll just read what I can find. But there was people who said uh he just got too close, or that he would make it seem like, all right, well, if you do this, there's going to be another role in my upcoming movie opening up, and if you do a good job at this practice scene for the sex scene, then like maybe I'll give it to you. So that's where it gets weird. Is so yeah, they knew that they were going to be learning how to do like intimate scenes and whatnot,
So
but
basically, this guy was a strip club manager, dude.
yeah, and he started to abuse his power. He was treating
Is,
these girls like,
is
all
that what I
right.
should do, dude? Should I just become a strip club manager? No, just
I
yeah.
mean, how much do they make? I'm just
Exactly.
kidding.
Do I get free time on the weekends? Not just kidding.
Well, maybe not if you're doing it in Albuquerque. Don't be a strip club manager
Oh
at this
no, no,
point.
definitely you get shot for sure.
Yeah,
No,
wait till you move. But so at this point too, if you're thinking about this class, this isn't like celebrity women. This is like non-celebrity status women too. So he's taking extra advantage of them because they don't have money. They don't have roles in movies. They don't have any of that. So he's
and
offering them their dream.
they think they're gonna make it big if they hit this roll off.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
that's the
So
dream of everyone, no?
yeah, especially if you're going to acting school to learn how to do this, right? So,
Especially.
hmm so here's where some weird stuff happens. So there was a scene, and the actresses had to like receive oral sex. The girls
Oh
did.
my
So
god.
for the scene, when stuff like this happens in movies, they have like things covering your parts. Like you're not expected to have sex with your co-star. It's just acting out the scene. So there's like guards that they'll put over an actress's vagina, and then you like simulate the oral sex over it and whatever. James Franco removed them during the scenes, and he licked all the girls' vaginas.
Oh
I
my
don't I don't
god.
I did not know how to say that appropriately or like professionally. So he literally just did it.
He went to town on all these girls.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
wild. That's wild.
And then there was another time where one of the girls that he was teaching, I
Should I
think it was
become a? No, just kidding.
I'm so sick of you. No, it was I don't think it was I don't know if this was a girl he was teaching or just a co-star in general, but they didn't want to take their top off and be topless in front of him. And so he like sent her home and was like, "You don't need to do this anymore. You're dismissed. Go."
Damn, you know what class this is? This is sex scenes, not modest scenes. Get the fuck out of here. Come on.
And that's
No,
basically how he acted. So she said like, "I learned real quick that you don't say no because you're gonna, lose your job basically." Then his Franco's attorney said like, "Oh no, all of this is false." But that's what the girls came out and said. Hmm.
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the fact that like all this shit happened. I'm laughing about like the lawyers were denying everything. They're like, all these girls are lying. They're all lying.
Everyone.
Everyone. I only believe James Franco, not because he pays me millions, but because I know he's a good guy.
It's because he pays them millions. Like anyone can get away with murder if they have money. It's basically what we've all learned from the past few episodes, right?
Yeah, not even from these past episodes, dude. We can just go back all the way back to just natural disasters.
Yeah, literally we can. So during all of this stuff going on and all these people coming forward, in the summer of 2021, James Franco finally settles this case out of court. So he never had to go to trial for any of this, dude.
Damn. So he sat at home playing Fortnite, And then they're like, hey, man, you got to go to court for all the shit you did. I didn't do it, though.
Yeah. So he settles with these girls. So he ended up having to pay, which I feel like is a low number considering like how many girls were involved. I think there was like I don't know, lots of them. I'm not even sure how many, to be honest.
Over like 100 spoke out, right? But there was only like a couple that actually like complained.
Yeah, like they filed suit against him type of stuff. So he ended up having to pay $2.2 million. Some of that was to the girls, and like the rest of it was to other people who had come forward and that kind of stuff. So, but that's not that much. Despite him paying that money, though, he still denied the allegations. Yeah, he's like, if you guys just stop saying I did that, dude, I'll give you 2.2 mil. And they're like, okay.
Oh my god, dude! I see how much like that. I feel like the only reason these people are out and about is because money talks, right?
Exactly.
Like literally, money talks. Everyone has a price, right?
Yep.
That's like that one movie where I don't remember. It was on Netflix, but they invite these people over as a billionaire, and then he's like, "Truth or dare." You ever see that one?
Oh, with Tyler Posey. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Him.
That movie is like that. Like she's like, I'm a vegetarian. She's like, well, eat that meat, and he's like, what's your price? Everyone has a price. That's the truth.
Yeah, I guess it is, dude.
It's like, what's your price, Miranda?
I was literally just gonna ask you, what's your price? But for what?
Damn.
Because I feel like my price differs based on what I'm being asked to do.
We're asked to do.
Yeah. Like if you were gonna ask me to like go in to my
here's the thing.
What
we're talking about. We're talking about James Franco. Let's just say, what's your price to lie for him?
Oof.
Lie for like how he's even though you know the truth. Like let's just say, you know his homies knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like just say you're one of the homies and you're in court now. How much is James Franco paying you to shut the fuck up?
I guess it depends on how good of a homie he is. I don't know, and that sounds horrible, but like I'm thinking about it, like if this was you or Matthew or something, and you guys were like, I need you to go to court. Like if he had done something absolutely horrible, I'd be like, no, I can't. I'm not gonna go. Like if I knew you like killed 3 babies or something and then buried them in the yard, like I'm not gonna lie for you. You took it too far, dude. Yeah. So I don't know, dude. I guess you don't know until you're on the actual spot of being like, look, is 2.2 mil enough to do this for me? I don't know, but everyone does have a price. Like you're right. So that same year, he went on a podcast because keep in mind during this whole time that he wasn't working and stuff, starting in like 2018, he was silent. He wasn't talking to press. He wasn't doing interviews. He wasn't telling people, yes, I did it. No, I didn't. Like really, he was just, when he would go to court, he would say, this is not true, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't talking about anything. So, you know his brother, Dave Franco.
Yeah.
He's famous too. And then Seth Rogen, his BFF dude, comes out and he's like, I'm not doing shit with him anymore. So James Franco, like we were just talking about, like, you know, if you're a homie, like, what's your price? Seth Rogen was like, I ain't got one. I'm done. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, no projects coming up. I'm not working with him again. He's a piece of crap for doing what he did. I'm done. So you know until probably soon, because James Franco
legitly until he came out with a new project, and then he's like, oh, you know, it would be great to do this, James Franco.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
No. Ugh. I didn't know. I thought they were done.
Yeah. Well, so Seth is one of those people. He's known to, like, how do I say? He's known to applaud. How do I say? Like, he'll go with whatever the media says, and then he'll turn around and do whatever he wants. And this is exactly what he did. He's like, I'm gonna turn on James Franco just because everyone's turning on James Franco. Yeah. And then the second I need him, he's my friend again.
He's back. Yeah.
Or like you said, he's back. Let's put him back in the spotlight.
Yeah, well, and James Franco, during all this, when Seth Rogen spoke out and stuff, he said like, "Oh, I love Seth Rogen. I don't blame like I'm not mad at him for doing this." Basically, this isn't a direct quote. I'm just summing up what he said. He said like he loves him. He's not mad at him, and that when he did this interview, he said like, "Now it's my turn to talk. I feel horrible for making like, you know, my brother Dave and Seth and my other friends like talk for me because I was silent." He said something like that. And then, dude, James, I hate when people do this. He tries to make people feel bad and he goes, "Well, I was once in recovery for substance abuse and there were some other issues I had to deal with, basically. And I couldn't drink anymore and do this. So I had to fill that hole and, you know, like success and
He's
attention."
like, I had to fill that hole by filling holes, you know.
Yeah,
It's the only way I felt complete.
that's literally what he did. He said that in a weird way that, you know, the success and attention, it was just so great. And he was like addicted to validation at that point, is what he said.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so in this case, you know, they are like straight up. This is just him being a pig, right? Right.
Yeah.
But would mental health would fall into this category as well? Would he be considered to have mental health issues
Yes.
because of the way he thinks?
Yep.
Because in a way, if you're always seeking validation, it means he doesn't have any self-worth, right?
Yeah, literally. Well, and the fact that he's going towards minors in like a sexual way and sending nudes and like that kind of stuff to kids, because when you're not 18, you are still considered a kid, and he's okay with it, knowing that it's wrong and stuff, that makes him like a child predator, which they all have like mental health issues. And like, so yeah, he has some serious issues that he needs to work through.
So you said when you're 18, you're still considered a kid?
No, when you're under 18. Sorry,
when you're
I
under
don't
18?
know.
Oh,
When you're 18, you're considered
like,
an adult. But I mean, technically, the day you turn 18, yesterday you were just 17, so you're kind of still a kid. You know what I mean? Like, like if today I was 17, but tomorrow I'm 18, I can just have sex with James Franco and it's not a crime anymore. But you know, like if I do it at 12:01 a.m., it's not a crime anymore. But 1 minute ago it was. Like that's still disgusting.
Yeah. What is that called? Is that like?
And it's like makes you a pedophile, really. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, there we go. It's a pedophile.
Mm-hmm. It's gross.
And you know, dude, since we bring up Chris D'Elia earlier, why don't I tell you, like, he's basically one of Joe Rogan's guys. And by what I mean by that is, you know, Joe Rogan himself, he's a prominent figure. He's the biggest podcaster in the world, you know.
Yeah.
He's like James Franco too. You know, he's always been in our lives. Fear Factor, all this
UFC.
shit. UFC, yeah. He's our guy. He's our announcer. Well, apart from all that, you know, he's Mr. Comedian. He has his own comedy club and shit, you know.
He does stand up.
Just stand up. But apart from this, what I'm trying to get is that he has a group of friends that basically he brought up. You know, if it wasn't for him, these people wouldn't be famous. And that's like, it's Brendan Shaw, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Ari Shaffir, Theo Vaughn is in that.
Don't even talk about him. He's a good guy still.
But I'm just saying that he's like one of the people that, you know, if it wasn't for Joe Rogan, these people wouldn't have their careers.
Yeah, they wouldn't be as big.
You know, even Joey Diaz is considered in those people too.
Yeah.
And
the only reason Joey Diaz is still like in anyone's thoughts is because of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
you're
like
right.
that's what it is.
I mean, it's not because of the longest stride, right? But it's
yeah, it's because Joseph.
Joe. So basically, these people wouldn't have a career without Joe Rogan. You know, they're Joe's boys, as they say. So, Chris D'Elia, dude, they always joked around about him, how he was just a little weirder from these people that he hangs out with. Even Theo Vaughn was the first one to say, like, it seemed out of character that this guy basically would come and hang out with us, and then he'd go fuck around with bitches when we all knew his wife was. We were just ate dinner with his wife.
Oof, that's fucked, dude. That
So
is.
so that's like where one of the things I feel like with the boys if you have a wife and and you're cheating on your wife and it's your boy, that's fucked up, bro. And
Yeah.
that's fucked up. Like you ain't doing shit about it. But you're like, it's not your life, it's not this, bro. But a second you get friends, the second you decide just to call someone a friend or best friend or a brother, you straight up, they have a responsibility to you, and then you have a responsibility to them.
Yeah.
It's not just calling someone a friend and when they're being like, I don't want to be friends anymore. It don't work like that.
No. And
Bonds
like
are created.
it's different too. Like as we've grown up, you can see that change too, because think of when we were in middle school or high school or something, like say we're in 8th grade, everyone might have a boyfriend or something, and you go to the movies and, let's just Amy, I'm making up a name, Amy hold hands with Derek, but she's dating Joe or something, right? Like it wasn't, everyone was like, oh my God, she's a horrible person. And like people would try to keep that secret. But now when you have like a set group of friends as an adult, like you were saying, like you become, if you are truly like homies, that's like your family. I don't know, me and you, like you're my family. Like we're, ride or die, fast and furious status family. And if you, even though I've known you forever and ever, and you're my best friend, if you get a wife, that's also my best friend too now. You know what I mean? And if
Yeah.
you're gonna go cheat on her, I'm not gonna lie to her. I'm gonna be like, yo, Jesus be fucking around, dog. And so they all know that and they don't say shit.
I'd expect you to, but I would never do that shit. But I would expect you to how do I
And
say,
I
do
know you
that
would
shit.
never do that. I know you would never. But I was just using that for an example. Like that's what you're getting at. And them, Joe Rogan's homies, like they just
And
sat around and watched.
yeah, exactly. So they knew what was, how do I say, everyone in that group knew what Chris D'Elia was doing, and they didn't they
They didn't do shit.
they didn't do shit about it up
Mm-mm.
until the allegations. And okay, so basically up until 2020, when like the first allegation came out about how basically he was talking to a 17-year-old.
Mm. Dude, the same shit.
The same basic. Oh, dude, it's basically, it is the same
It
shit.
is the same shit. Like it's
He
the same
called
story.
her, he said, how old are you? And then she's texted him back, I'm 17, this that. She's like, oh, you're cute, you should come to my hotel.
Mm-hmm. And you know what he tried to do? I think so. It was he met her at a stand-up show, right? It was like
Yeah.
one of his shows. And if I'm not mistaken, it was in Connecticut. So he tried to use this to like cover himself because he engaged. So this is what I heard. This is a story I heard, because she's coming out as Jane Doe right now, right?
Yeah.
So before the show, apparently they like engaged in some sexual activities. During the interactions of them, she had already told him she was 17, but in Connecticut, the age of consent is 16. So he was like, "Oh, it's not a big deal."
That's not what that means though. Like,
Yeah, that doesn't
he's
mean
so
go and
stupid.
have sex
He's
with
so
underage
stupid.
kids. Like, I don't know. And like that's what he tried to use.
That means in high school, if you're 18 and your girl is 16, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. That
That's what
doesn't
that
mean
means.
if you're 50 years old and the girl is 16, you should go for it. That's not what that means. Just for everyone listening.
Just to make everything clear, like because I feel like that maybe like let's say in Mexico the age of consent is 18, in Europe it's fucking 14, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you can have sex with these kids at that age. It just means they can have relationships.
Well,
it's a little different.
Those kind of laws are set up for like kind of like you were saying. If I start dating someone my freshman year who's a sophomore and we're dating and then they turn 18 and I'm 16 or 17, they're not going to go to jail. Like we've been together. I've consented to this. Like we're a year apart. We're 2 years apart. Not 15 or 20. Like that's disgusting. That's horrible. And then not only did this happen, but they continued to talk after this.
Of course.
So it wasn't just like a little fling. He like was really controlling and stuff over her, right? And he had received over like 100, I don't know, I was gonna say nudes, but I'm like trying to not sound like I'm just talking shit about this girl because I'm not. Yeah, so no, Crystalia, I can talk shit about him, I just don't want to talk shit about the girl. But she had sent over like 100 pictures.
Okay. So basically
nudes,
okay,
sexually explicit photos and videos.
God. Over how much like time?
It was they talked for a couple of years.
Years. See, so he basically groomed this lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so dude, I feel the type of character that Crystalia plays is like a slimy kind of a creep. Thinks he's a god, can get any bitch. Like that's the type of character he plays. That's basically him, right?
Yeah.
So this dude, bro, literally, the only reason I had known about him too was because his podcast had just popped up, maybe a couple weeks before all those allegations had come out.
Yeah.
And he just kept on coming out. And one thing he says about his podcast fans, he calls them his babies. He calls them a cult, dude.
His podcast listeners?
Yeah, he calls them his babies, and then it's his cult. And then his YouTube channel, like his company, like your mom's house is Tom Segura's and his wife's studio.
Yeah.
For the longest time, his studio's name was Good Cult.
What?
Good Cult something studios with Crystalia.
Dude.
So basically when the allegations came out, the first one that said something was like I said, Theo Von.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know how you can be a comedian if you're 35 and talking to a 17-year-old. Right?
No, yeah.
He said that, right? And apparently, after allegations, that's when Joe Rogan cut him off too. Like, he's like, nah, he ain't my friend anymore. So like a couple, I guess, maybe I'll just say like maybe the majority knew, maybe one or two didn't, and then those are the ones that spoke out.
Well,
so sorry, dude. One more thing, and then Brendan Shaw came out like a couple episodes, basically crying, saying like, "Oh, he's such a great guy," like all this shit, right? But a couple weeks before that, Crystalia had come on their podcast, The Fighter and the Kid.
Yeah.
And he was just bragging about how he had all these little girls, like all these little fans, how they're all cuties, how they're his babies, like I said. And then he's like, we're a cult, right? We're a cult. And then he's like, I made you guys honorary members, and he puts out like, you guys are basically like leaders. He's like, we don't kill people, but he's like, but we're real. We're real. So he was running a cult too.
That's gross. Like he's encouraging older men to go after these little kids and talking about them.
Dude, I'm about to talk shit. But what's the guy from Vampire Diaries?
Which one?
It's the one.
Ian Somerhalder.
Is the one with the long hair, not the
Damon with the black long hair?
Yeah.
Ian Somerhalder, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Crystalia is like a cheap discount version of him.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were about to say something bad that Ian Somerhalder did, and I said, don't you break my heart, Jesus. Don't you do this to me.
No,
I love him.
How do I say this? That guy's like the Gucci version. This guy's like the Dollar General version.
Yeah, no, he's like Gucci times 10 version. Don't freaking downplay him. Have you watched The Vampire Diaries lately?
I have, dude.
Every time I rewatch it, I'm like, God damn.
I like how the other guy is basically he's Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, that's who he was. He played Jack the Ripper. That's why they called him the Ripper, because Jack the Ripper was never caught. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. Here we go on our tangents, dude.
Of course.
Here's a nasty thing that I wanted to tell you about Dalia. So during all of this stuff, the allegations and stuff that were going on, Crystalia said that when what we are calling her Jane Doe because we don't know her name, which is good. I'm glad she didn't use her name because she's only like, I don't know, at this point she's only like 23 or something. I don't know. She's young.
Yeah,
she's
still
really young. But he said that when she expressed her age and stuff like that, her age and innocence and virginity made the encounter even hotter.
See?
Yeah, and then he wants us to
pig.
think he's not a freaking pig and not a creep and not a rapist and a pedophile.
And you know how I was just saying about how his personality type, basically he thinks he's a god, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
he did not survive. Nobody likes him.
Yeah, exactly. And
his tour just got canceled.
He's trying to make a comeback, but it's not. Yeah. It's not working because, like you said, because of the allegations and all this.
Well, he just is on. I think he's literally on tour right now, actually, and this one didn't get canceled, but his shows during all this stuff, all the allegations. Mm-hmm. His shows were getting canceled. Yeah, like people were canceling his tour, or not his whole tour, but like people and venues were like, "You ain't coming here, partner. Like not here, not today." And so he got a lot of that stuff canceled.
We don't like child diddlers here. No.
Exactly. And then, dude, it got so intense that Spotify even took like the episode that he was featured in on Joe Rogan's podcast. They took that down. Joe Rogan, actually, they took like, I think it was 50 to 100 episodes off of his page, Spotify did, because of the people who he had interviewed. And what's his face? Crystalia was one of them. And I don't know. We'll look into Joe Rogan, you guys, and we'll talk about him after this, being that we are starting to connect some dots here. But Joe Rogan is famous and he interviews a lot of famous people, so he might not necessarily know what he's doing when he's interviewing all these people. It might just happen, but you can never be sure until we're sure,
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing, what was I going to tell you about Crystalia? Frick, my ADHD kicked in. I'll tell you if I remember.
All right, so let me go on with this interview.
Sorry.
This interview that he did, because you went off and I was okay.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
He came out on an interview on an interview on the Soft White Underbelly YouTube channel, and they were he was talking about how how he survived getting canceled, this and that, but it's not true. It's a PR press, because in that channel they just interview drug addicts, they ex-convicts, like all this stuff, people like the undesirables of the world, right?
Yeah,
that's what they interview mainly in that YouTube channel. So it's a PR press for sure. Mm-hmm. But the things he says that attributed to what he does now, they're not good excuses. Like, he starts off with like, I got bullied in high school, like we all did. He starts off with like, he's like, my dad wasn't around a lot because he was always working, but his dad was a TV director. So, a movie director. So this kid was a Hollywood kid. He could get roles if he wanted to because of his dad. Yeah. So he's just a dick. And then in this interview, he's just trying to make it seem make it seem sad for him.
He's trying to play victim.
Yeah, play the victim. But the way he it seemed like he was almost faking it, because he doesn't act like that. He acts more funny, I guess, or more like normal. It just seemed like he was a robot. So it seemed fake as fuck. Yeah.
Well, he cheated on his wife and stuff, right? Because during all this, like, he's got a fiance. I don't know if he has a wife now, or I think he did. He has an ex-wife. I'm not sure if he's married anymore, because if anyone's married to him, they've got some mental health issues too. Being with everything that's happened, like, I'm all about riding for your partner, but not that, And he pulled a James Franco here, and he did this: sex controlled my life. I was an addict. Like, I cheated on my ex-fiance, his then fiance, my ex-wife. I cheated on my ex-wife because, like, it just controlled me. It was all my focus. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. Shut up. You had sex with kids. No one's gonna feel bad for you.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe maybe he's free now because he's come out on a lot of random like the Joe Rogan episode where he comes out. He even says like he's like, if you're smarter than me, I'm pretty sure you can see right through me, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically him saying like, I'm fake as fuck.
He is. You've got to be to do these kind of things and think it's okay.
Yeah, that's the thing is people think that all this is okay.
Well, and it's not just this girl. Like 10 other people have come out and said stuff too. So it's not just her. It's not like it was just the one kid. He's been accused of doing a lot of other stuff too. Like a 19-year-old, he messages them. This is the thing. He'll like go onto social media, which even these younger kids, like they might not necessarily know who he is because he's like an older comedian. But
Yeah.
it's coming from a verified account, and then you click on his account and it's just like, oh shit, a famous guy's messaging me. He thinks I'm cute. Like, imagine being a 17-year-old girl and like that's happening to you.
It would be like one of those like those goth girls that are all tatted up to hit you on Instagram, and you'd be like, damn, bro, you look like you'd be a good house dad. And I'd be like, I do, huh? No, I just can't.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what you were saying earlier about the freaking cult?
Yeah.
Did
you heard what I said after all.
It was like delayed when I freaking heard it, dude. I was like, yeah, and then I was like, what the fuck did he just say? What did he say? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So earlier you were talking about the cult.
Yes.
Right? Like the cult. So Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schaub, or however you say it, they had like back in 2019, like done a skit or like a bit is what I mean on it. And Theo Vaughn even said like, that ain't ever going to end well. Yeah. And then he said, everyone's drinking Kool-Aid except Chris and everyone dies. And they were like laughing about it. But they're like legit talking about how this isn't going to be good, dude. And then Theo Vaughn, and I quote, said, well, a lot of people are going to be drinking Kool-Aid because they're underage girls, probably. That's what Theo Vaughn said about Chris D'Elia.
See, dude, it's fucking.
So, like, people know, but I don't know. It's just.
It's so weird that we're not protecting the kids, bro. Like.
It is.
When did it stop being about, let's start protecting our children? And let's just let them do whatever they want on the internet. Like when did it come from that to this?
I don't know. And it is hard because, like you said, letting them do whatever they want on the internet, right? You said that. And I guess that's the hard part, is controlling what your kid does on the internet. But you shouldn't. You have the hope deep down that you shouldn't have to worry about a famous person, a famous comedian messaging your child and sending them nudes and then trying to get them to fly out there. Like, that's not the first thing that you think of, but now you have to.
Yeah.
Now that is what you have to think of. Like, when we were kids, we didn't have that. Like, we had AOL. And I do remember
AOL, bro.
Dude, I remember us doing some creepy stuff on there too. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I remember we would go on there and you couldn't see each other, but you would just make up your username like I don't know, like Cherry Lover 22. I don't know. I made that up. And you'd message on those like huge group chats, and then people would be like ASL, which meant age, sex, location, and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm 9. I live here," but like we'd always lie. Like, that's disgusting. And I remember like we didn't think of it as like a bad dirty thing. We'd be like, "Oh, we could just talk to people," but they won't talk to us. So we'd, like say stuff like that.
What you said about the AOL, I remember doing this, but like, damn, dude, I don't know if it's still open, but I remember this site called like the Hobobo or Hobobo or something like that, and you were like little square characters, right?
Hobobo.
Yeah, it's called like that. Yeah, and you were like little like box characters, like almost like Minecraft.
Okay, I've never heard of this.
And the thing is, you would make your character, and like what you said, you would put age, city, and your sex, and you just. You go to random houses, you talk to random people,
Dude,
right?
no.
And then all of a sudden you get someone that's literally, bro. I met someone. I shouldn't have done it, but I met someone, right? And they were in my city. The thing is that we're both lying, right?
No, dude.
Because I said I was older, right? And she said she was way older. The truth of the matter, it was like I was like 13, and I think she was like 15.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you don't like you think of it, and that was back when we were kids, right? So that's just the early 2000s. That's even that long ago. Now you've got Snapchat, you've got Instagram, you've got all this stuff, and people love attention. Like I see on TikTok, these kids, 13-year-olds are posting videos dancing in crop tops and tiny shorts, and they look like they're older. Like they might even look 20. When I was 13, bro, I was wearing pigtails with straight across bangs and a freaking matching set of shorts and a t-shirt that my mom would give me with high-ass socks and some tennis shoes. And then I got like and then I turned 13 and I started to act all emo, right? But like I did. And then I would wear like all black and I had my hair in my face and stuff, but I looked 13. I don't know, like
I know what you mean, bro. Because
And
the same thing with me. Because like you said, maybe from like age 1 to 12, I'd just like let whatever my mom do, and then exactly when I turned 13, I was like, Mom, I'm gonna grow my hair, and everything went downhill from there. But I how do I say? Even though I had my long hair, I always looked like a kid, if that made sense. I never made myself look older.
yeah, see that's how I was too. I was still a kid. Like I still wore hoodies and I wore bright blue eyeshadow and I had my lip piercings and I still like wore my middle school volleyball hoodie. Like, I did that, but
I would wear like all black, Miranda, and then because you just always been an anime nerd, and all of a sudden like Dragon Ball Z shirt,
mm-hmm.
Yu-Gi-Oh shirt, Pokemon shirt,
Yeah,
and then all black the next day, but because I like that shit.
You know what else Chris D'Elia did?
What didn't he do, bro?
No, he did everything bad. So, and it's always like really young kids. So one of his fans, she was a student in college. I think she was 19. She had sent him a picture on Snapchat and he had like ended up responding to it or whatever. They started texting each other like on their phones and it was like, it went straight to like sexual stuff, right? So he literally like said some really gross things and then they ended up like meeting up and she would like perform oral sex on him and say like, oh, well, like I'm not looking for anything, whatever, like I'm just big age difference, whatever, right? So then he had messaged her like after months of texting, he had messaged her and was like, I want you to bleep my friend tonight. Will you do that for me? And then he like gave his friend her number. And then she said that like some guy began like FaceTiming her and like texting her and calling her and whatever. And he was like, oh, like I'm Chris's best friend. He told me to hit you up. He told me that like you're real. I want nothing. I promise. He's just, like, let's do this. And then he kept asking her for her address so that they could meet. And oh, okay. So I kind of told the story wrong. I read it wrong on the thing. She had told him she would give him oral sex. She didn't perform the oral sex, but she told him she was going to.
She offered.
So yeah. So then his friend, this is how he like put her into it. He was like, hey, my friend wants you to, give him some oral stuff. And then she was like, I don't know. So he starts calling her and is like, look, if you meet with me first, then I'll approve you to meet with Chris. You know what I mean? And so then she like didn't tell him where she lived. She just told him like, this is the town I live in, whatever. So then later that night, Chris D'Elia was like, what the fuck? My buddy drove out to you. You didn't say shit. Blah, blah, blah. And he got all freaking mad at her. Isn't that crazy?
What a monster, dude. He's like, well, I'm famous enough. He's like, here's my best friend. He's like, I'm a prostitute to him, basically.
Mm-hmm. No, like a ton of stuff like that happened. So it's not just like one or two cases. Like there's, like I said, at the time, 10 people had come forward, and they were all young girls, like college students or younger, coming forward, and like they ran into him at like a hotel, or they saw him at a show or something like that.
Right. And then, like you said, the worst part is that he had a fiance during all this time, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then he did that thing where like he would invite them back to his room and be like, you can't bring your phones in here. You have to leave them in this basket. And then the girls are young, so like, oh, well, he's famous, so probably like everyone who's famous makes you do this, so you can't like send pictures to your friends and stuff. And so they would just like fall for it. And then he'd give them like alcohol, and
he'd give him P. Diddy's alcohol. Oh,
yeah, he would give him a dose of the P. Diddy, and then boop. Not boop dead, but boop.
Man.
So like, I don't know.
Like James Franco was like I said, he's Harry from Spider-Man for me.
It's wild.
It's sick. It's sickening, bro. Like
it is.
That all this stuff comes out like maybe like in small doses for the people, but like we get the whole entirety thing.
Yeah. Well, we have to read about it and read all these pages and like see what they were accused of, and their answers are what sickens me even more. Because they're like, dude, I had an addiction. It's my bad, bro. Like, it won't happen again. I'm getting help. Like, I'm so sorry. And it's like, you didn't just cheat on your wife. That's not why everyone's mad at you. Because like that's what they act like. They're like, ugh, I accidentally slept with someone that I was teaching. I slept with the students. Ugh. Like that's James Franco was like, I slept with students. Like, big deal. We were all consenting adults. Like, big whoop. Like, that is not what people are mad about, dude. Like, it doesn't matter if they were 18. And you were 35, like that's gross. You were their instructor, you were teaching them, and then you were forcing them to do this. It's not like they consented to having sex or oral sex or anything. You forced them to do it and took off guards and did all this stuff without permission.
Exactly.
And that's what, and then
they're just monsters, bro.
They are. And then they're just trying to blame addiction. I'm like, stop blaming addiction. This is why I always get so angry when people are like, oh, well, he's an addict. Okay, that didn't mean he had to kill his mom and steal her purse. Like, like people always do that, and they blame addiction for everything.
To blame addiction instead of the mental health.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, you're disgusting, you're sick, you need help, and then they're just like, psh. I just had given up soda that week, though.
Or dude, let me put an example where it's like those kids that kill themselves, riding fast cars,
Same thing.
And they were racing, like, say you bought this kid a Mustang, and he was racing and he crashed it and killed himself, right? And then you're over here on Facebook saying, oh, pray for my son, pray this, because this, but you don't know how to say it in a nice way that he's saying he killed himself.
Yeah.
Because you gave him a fast car.
Yep. It's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
Like, I don't know. All of this is just insane to me that all these famous people just get away with stuff like this.
And how normal it is for everyone to just accept it. Like,
yeah, like they just forget about it because it's not happening in their life. At the moment, it's happening to someone else. So they're just like, it is what it is. And then they just continue to watch their movies and pay for movie tickets and, vote for them to get awards and do this and do that. And like, these people are still rich millionaires because of us, but they're out there preying on little kids and cheating on their wives and doing drugs and cheating the system because they have money.
More money, more problems.
Yeehaw, brother.